We're good? All right, here we go. So Alyssa bought a vehicle for this much. Remember, no taxes when it comes to depreciation. They've told us that, no taxes. So 20% per year is lost. Remember, this could vary. It could be 20 the first year, 15 the second, so read carefully. Total depreciation over 2 years, 24,900. You just multiply that by 0.20. The first year you get 4980. I'll give you half a mark. Like, let's say that's all you've done, you would at least get half a mark. You subtract that to get your second year, and that's 19,920. And then multiply by 20% again, and it'll be slightly less, right? 3984. If you stop there, you already get a mark. That's what I'm saying with this. And the total depreciation is adding up these two, and that would be 8,964. That gets you that second mark. So half, half, one. This is the one I really want to see. So if that's what you came up with, I don't really care how you did it. This word calculate is a key word for the province that some work needs to be shown, right? So if you do it a different way, don't want to use my formulas, you go for it. As long as you show us some work, you're good. The depreciated value at the end of the 2 years, you have some options. You can go with the original minus everything you've lost, or you can just take the 19,920 and just subtract. And maybe you already did that anyways as part of this work, but this would give you 15,936. So regardless of how you did it, if you have this number, I'm fine. Keep in mind, let's say you make a mistake for whatever reason, like you show me the work and this number doesn't match your work. That's only half a mark deduction in my books, and that's the province does that as well. It means you typed it in wrong, something, but that's why showing your work is very important if you want that. Okay, so then obviously this would affect your second number. You do not lose again, right? So I would have to check what you should be getting based on your previous answer, and if you follow through, you would still get 1.5 out of 2 if it's just like a typo or something. Okay, and this same here, if you got different numbers, I would have to see the work here, and I would still give you the mark for this part right here. Maybe what I should say here is, because we're still learning, if you see one of these next to an answer, so I for example put a check mark next to your answer, but I put an R, that stands for rounding. You made a rounding error. Use for you're missing your units, so your dollar sign, your centimeters, your what have you. And N is for notation. So that's not going to be very popular just yet, but if you don't use the equal sign properly, like if you do like a train, it's like this equals that, equals that, equals that, and it's actually not equal to each other, that would be half a mark deduction. So run from those mistakes. Sometimes you will see this round early, so I take half a mark for each one of these, but never more than 1 mark per page, because I want to be fair. I think you got it at that point. I'm not going to go like, oh, 5 rounding errors, 2.5, right? On that page, 1 mark, that's it. Okay, then next page, then I reset it and I do it all over again. But most of the time you get pretty good at it towards the end. Question 2. Harbans wants to purchase a new car, so that's important. A new Chevy Silverado. The base price is $35,400. There's some rust proofing, bed liner, leather seats, so that all those options, freight, and there's a trade-in. That is possibly the most important one that you need to account for in this case, because order matters when it comes to trade-in. So what's a sticker price? For a sticker, sometimes they ask for it, sometimes they don't. I would still calculate it regardless. Okay, so $35,400 plus $450 plus $1,200 plus $300 plus $1,500, and you're like, where's the tire tax, AC tax? Where's that? It's not here. We don't worry about it. That's the rule. And that's how the province goes. If it's not mentioned, you do not worry about it, okay? And so this would be 38,850. Boom, you get a mark for that. Okay. Dollar sign, please. Calculate the total cost of purchasing the vehicle, including taxes. Remember, the province would say plus tax. That's the wording. They've changed it so many times, like I can't keep up with my stuff. Like I can't change it quick enough. So, but that'll be, like, figure out the taxes as well. So that'll be 38,850 minus the trade-in. If I see this, you already get a mark regardless of what happens after, right? And then you multiply this by 1.12. That would be your second mark, so to speak. So when you subtract here, you get 32,100 times 1.12. And when you multiply this, you get, there are no decimals here. You're lucky. Lucky. 35,952. And obviously, if you made a mistake up here, it depends. If you show me all of these numbers, but you somehow get a different answer, that's only half off. If there's no work, you just give me a number, that's -1. So you got to understand the difference. This number follows you here. So if you get this wrong, please don't take marks off again in B. Do not do that. Okay. But anyways, 2 marks for B for coming up with the right answer. So what are we at in total? 2 and 1, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one stays out of 6. If you could put a mark out of 6 on there. And your name and last name. Question? For the class or just me? Just for me. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, once you have your name and last name on there and your totals, first of all, I'll tell you this, don't sweat it too much. Is it 5.5? Is it, what is it, 5? I'm not in the business of doing that today, right? So don't think that you're cheating when you're doing that. If it's like 6 out of 6, but it should be 1 out of 6, that's a different story, right? I can tell right away. So don't sweat it that much. You're the teacher. You give yourselves a mark there, whatever you think you deserve, okay? And then we will learn as we go along how to mark better. And then pass them forward once you're done. Yeah, facing down. I don't want people to see me. So that'll be half off. Yeah, that's just the half off, and then we go from that.
Yeah, so I just, like, I did it up here, then I just remember I just need to do it down there. So it's just like half.
Yeah. No, that would be.
Oh, you already took the trade off here.
Yeah.
So this would technically be incorrect for sticker. So you, where do you want to lose it basically? You want to lose it here or there, right? Like it, so just take off, we'll just take off half today. Yeah. Question? You're right there.
Sorry for that. Like, I'm not, like, yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's what that's.
I'll do it later.
Oh, okay, so just -1. Good. I'll come back to you after it. Okay, yeah. So this is around, so you can go, where the book had something up there.
No, it's that would walk up to you.
Yeah, so for collecting purposes, yes, if you could kind of stick to your role and passing forward, so when I have to hand them back, it's easier for me to hand them back, right? Because you'll just sit where you are and I'll just give them back to you, okay? So I appreciate that, thank you. So you can get your notes out. Today we'll start talking about, thank you, we'll start talking about used vehicles. This, okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that later. So. Okay. And unfortunately, you got a teacher that does make mistakes. So you got to let me know when the key is off. Every once in a while, there could be something a little off. Let me know, and I'll try to fix that. In the meantime, we're going to go to 14. Page 14. And you know what? While you go to 14 and you look at that, I want you to read a little bit. I'll give you the formula sheet. This is the official formula sheet for this course. This is actually the one that the class that just wrote the provincial exam, they all ripped this out from their booklet. So you're getting that one, right? This is the latest formula sheet. So you get to bring this in addition to your study sheet, you get to bring this. So sometimes there's stuff in here, it may save you space on your study sheet. So you don't have to write down formulas that just take up space and time. Even though I'll tell you sometimes to still write it on your study sheet because the formula that I give you is a little different. It explains what it does. These formulas that don't tell you what they do are somewhat useless. Right? You need to know what does every part 3, 4, 5. There you go. Some of these are not. So please don't lose this one. Like kind of keep them together. Yeah, are there 4 in there? I hope so. Keep them together. Short one. Yeah, so the only thing for vehicle finance in this formula sheet, if you flip it to the back, where it says taxes, back of this. See, my beef with this was they sent us one in September, but you know what it said here? PST. And the province changed it to RST, which is okay. It's technically what it's now called, RST, retail sales tax. But they didn't tell us. So this is new now. That is supposed to be the same as PST. If you look at the note here, provincial sales tax, PST, is now called retail sales tax. So just don't let that throw you off, okay? My worksheets, for the most part, use PST. Okay? All right. So that's the only thing, is this little section here for this unit that you need to know. And so it reminds you of what PST and GST rates are. So 7%, 5%. So if you forget that ever and you're not sure, don't guess. You go here and check. And then look at this, buying new. I'll start recording this because